All right, in an effort to go for the most videos created in a short period of time, we're going to talk about the masses and spring simulation on FET. Keep this video for reals short though. And once you click on the link, you've got masses and springs. You want to click on lab, double click, and you got an interface where there's a bunch of different things you can do. You're not going to use about 65% of it. First thing you want to do is turn off damping. Bloop, turn it to 0. Damping is what makes the spring come to a stop, and we don't want that to happen, so we want to keep going forever. So we want to first determine what the spring constants are. If up on this top slider, you can adjust it for a thin to a thick spring. So that means, well, there's a couple different ways we can do it using spring forces, but because we're going to use some unknown masses at some point, we can't do that. But we start out, we've got a 100-gram mass, and if I put it on the spring and I let go, it oscillates up and down. And that's the feature that you're going to use. Now, procedurally, in order to make this work, you can't begin timing it somewhere in the middle. You want to know where it is, so click the stop button at the top, and that puts the mass at its equilibrium position. Then you can turn on the movable line, doink, and I would put it down below the mass, and you're going to use that to pull down and then release, and that way you know where its lower limit is, so you can begin timing at the bottom and then stop the timer once it completes a full cycle. I'm going to click stop again. Now to use the timer, we've got one built into the simulation right here. Now if I've got it and I go and release, it's going to be hard to start and stop the timer exactly when this thing begins moving. So what I recommend you do is you get your timer sitting there, you click the pause button, not the stop. The stop button at the top is to just stop the thing moving, but click pause. Now if you pull down on the mass and you release it, nothing happens. It's because the simulation's paused. So I can then start my stopwatch, but because the world is paused, it doesn't start counting yet. And then I can click the play button and I can watch it go back and forth. But again, that's a little tricky. So I'm going to restart all this stuff. I'm going to pull it down. So it's right there. Click the play button, the record button for the timer. Then click slow motion. And now I can click play to record the time it takes to do one complete cycle. I'm going to pause it right now and then click frame by frame forward. It looks like right about there. And I've got the time it takes for that particular spring constant value to oscillate up and down with a 0.1 kilogram mass on it.